For many, we sit hours on end in front of a screen, so naturally, the monitor we choose to use is an integral part of a home office setup. Today, I managed to get my hands on a pretty special monitor, a new 5K 40-inch curved ultra-wide monitor by LG, and besides its size and resolution, it's a really interestingly unique monitor. So in this video today, let's unbox this monitor, set it up together, and explore if this monitor is worth your time and money, especially for those considering an ultra-wide, because there is a lot to consider when making that switch. This monitor is named the LG 40WP95C. Honestly, don't know why we can't use cooler or more uniform monitor names, but anyway, no surprises, this monitor arrived in a huge brown box. With the included stand, the monitor comes in at almost 100 centimeters by 41 centimeters or 40 inches by 16 inches and weighs a pretty heavy 12.3 kilos, but it is expected of a 40-inch monitor. Just make sure you have enough real estate on your desk to fit this behemoth. I did run into a hiccup early on though. The new monitor is just a tad too big and heavy for the Dell MSA20 monitor arm, which I'm currently using for the Alienware 38-inch ultra-wide. So I had to park everything to the side until I found a new monitor arm. So I settled on a new heavy-duty monitor arm rated to hold up to 43 inches and 20 kilos. Thank God for next day delivery. I got this one in white rather than the previous black I had used to match the wall so it blends right into the background. Mounting the new monitor onto the arm was seamless. Just slot it right into the VESA mount, and with a little cable management, you have yourself a 40-inch monitor levitating on a sit-stand desk. It stretches across the entire span of the Grove-made desk shelf here and elevates the home office space as the focal piece. When it comes to the design of the monitor, it's clean, simple, and professional as LGs are typically known for. We have thin bezels, a clean, pure white outer case, and LG's iconic and rather large one-click C-curve stand. The backside features a KVM switch to hook up all your peripherals to, a Thunderbolt 4 port, 2 HDMI 2 ports, DisplayPort 1.4, 3 USB 3 Type A ports, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. There are built-in downward speakers of 10 watts, which get the job done and is a nice inclusion, but if you're serious about sound, please hook up your dedicated speakers to the monitor. The degree of curvature for this monitor is rated at 2500R, which is slightly above average curve radius considering that 4000R is the upper end of the spectrum. With this level of curve and at 40 inches, it's more than enough to wrap your entire field of view, which is super immersive when sitting about a meter away. It's worth mentioning that the Thunderbolt and DisplayPort connectors on this monitor allow daisy chaining, which just means you're able to connect multiple devices or multiple monitors together using a single connection, and so we're able to reduce cable clutter and simplify the monitor connection. Currently, I have the monitor connected to the CalDigit Tier 3 dock, so I get access to expanded ports, but if you want to keep it simple and budget friendly, you can always just get away with just using the Thunderbolt 4 port, which is more than enough to power your entire setup and essentially turn a laptop into a desktop configuration. It's extremely nice to be able to take your laptop, dock it and get access to your laptop through a huge ultra-wide screen or any screen really, with all your peripherals like my keyboard, mouse, and dedicated speakers, and that Thunderbolt 4 port will help you do that. And there's nothing too fancy or outlandish with the build. The focus is on the huge quality display, as it should be. But what makes this monitor unique and a standout? There's a few things. Of course, we have a beautiful and crispy 5K nano IPS display, specifically 5K by 2K, which is an unusual 5120 by 2160 resolution. At this really high resolution, it's the equivalent of 2 QHD panels in one. It looks super crisp, even coming from a 4K resolution, and it really shines here with the custom 8K wallpaper I've designed on Blender. The 5K resolution translates to ultra clear small text, even with multiple windows or documents open, and a lot more detail when editing a 4K video or large images. The refresh rate of this monitor is oddly 72 Hz, 12 Hz higher than the typical 60 Hz monitors we see. This refresh rate is more than enough for the average user, especially given the focus of the monitor is productivity. The other unique factor is the inclusion of Intel's Thunderbolt 4 on this monitor. With a Thunderbolt 4 monitor, you just need one cable for power, display, and data, which will reduce cable clutter on your desk, and it also packs 40 gigs of data throughput across the DisplayPort and USB, packed with 100 watts of power delivery in a single cable. So it's no surprise that the LG 40WP95C is catered to the home office crowd and productivity enthusiasts, and its extra features support this. The auto brightness switcher function in the screen auto dims the brightness through a sensor depending on whether the room is darker or brighter, which helps with eye strain, especially when you're working for extended periods. And then you also have the HDR10 capability of this screen, which basically boosts color vibrance and contrast. Pretty important feature for consuming media and also for creatives. Speaking of color, the panel's color reproduction is amazing too, with the panel rated as DCI-P3 98%, which basically means it's able to display 98% of the entire DCI-P3's color spectrum. And fun fact, DCI-P3 has a color gamut of at least 25% wider than sRGB. Bundle this with a plethora of ports and Thunderbolt 4, and you have a pretty stellar workstation and powerful screen. But let's not forget about gaming. How does it fare in a gaming setup? I decided to hook it up to the new gaming PC I just built featuring the Radeon 6900 XT to see how it fares. The display features a very quick 5 millisecond response time and AMD FreeSync, so it'll lock the refresh rate to the frame rate of the graphics card, but this monitor has a maximum refresh rate of 72 Hz. And it's enough for most games outside of fast-paced FPSs. To max out games at a constant 72 frames per second at the 5K resolution, which has 33% more pixels than 4K by the way, you need to be running a relatively high-end PC. The Radeon 6900 XT here seems to do the trick. If you do manage to get it running smoothly, it's a treat. You'll be wrapped in 40 inches of 5K gaming goodness. At the end of the day though, it isn't a gaming monitor, and you will be giving up things like a 144 Hz refresh rate and 1 millisecond refresh rate, for example. Of course, let's go over the areas where the monitor drops the ball. This monitor just isn't that bright, and that's an issue, especially if you're sitting this monitor right near a sunny window. The peak brightness is a lackluster 300 nits, and to give you a comparison, my 14-inch MacBook has a maximum sustained brightness output of 1000 nits. This also renders the HDR10 support a little redundant because it cannot reach a higher peak brightness in the first place. The contrast ratio is also mediocre since it's an IPS panel, and I wish there was just a little more oomph in the brightness and contrast department, particularly at the price point of $2,000. To be fair though, most ultra-wide 5K screens at the size are very similarly priced, like the HP C40C or Dell U40. While I'm upgrading the display, now's a great time to change the desk setup a little with this newly dropped Grovemade matte black desk shelf. We all know and love the iconic wooden Grovemade shelf of course, and the matte black takes it to an ultra modern level, and I find it fits the new 40-inch look and its bezels really nicely. Altogether, these couple changes have freshened up the home office space and helps me stay in the zone and motivated to do my best work day in and day out. When it comes to the monitor, the LG 40WP95C, it's possibly the best ultra-wide display for work and productivity available on the market right now. The combination of its huge 40-inch size, curved ultra-wide, 5K clarity topped with a terrific build quality and those Thunderbolt 4 ports make this a beastly pick for professionals, work from home enthusiasts, and to an extent, creative specialists. Here is my recommendation though. It comes down to ultimately what your priority is. Is it work or gaming? At the end of the day, a work-specific monitor or gaming-specific monitor can do both. You can both work and game on either of them, but there are features that make your experience that much better depending on what you're buying the monitor for and depending, of course, on your budget. If your priority is work and extreme productivity, this beautiful and powerful 40-inch behemoth will be one of the best investments into your workspace that you'll make. As for me personally, I'll be keeping both this monitor and my 30-inch Alienware monitor, and hopefully soon I'll be setting up a separate space for a gaming setup featuring the 38-inch Alienware monitor and another space purely for working, and it'll feature the 40-inch LG monitor. If you want to see these setup videos, be sure to subscribe for more tech and business content and drop a like if you enjoyed this video. A big thank you to LG for sending out this monitor in the first place, and as always, thank you for watching.